Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and rejoice, Blender users! Blender 5.2 is one step closer. The beta is now out. We got an idea of what new features are going to be coming, and so there's some great stuff coming in Blender 5.2. So we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at like 6 of the things that I think are most interesting. So without further ado, let's jump in and start things the way all Blender videos should, with a sacrifice. Goodbye, default cube. All right, the first thing we've got going on is this. We now have the asset libraries. You're going to notice there's actually this own category for it right here now in preferences. It's got its own category. But on top of that, you can now come up here and you can add a remote asset library. So what you can actually do is have them running on a web server somewhere and actually pass it in via URL. Now there's another aspect of this as well. And while I'm in preferences, I will show you what you need to do. So you come in here, system, network, and allow online access. I'm going to show you without first, and then I'll turn that on. So let's just move this up over here. So if we go on over here and we take a look at the asset browser, what you're going to find is there is this new category called Essentials. And this is kind of like the built-in freebies. You see a decent selection of things to get going. Well, using the new online libraries, what they have done is expanded that. So what I'm going to do is just change that to allow online access. And what you're going to notice is it is now going to go across the server, like what you see here, and our few things turns into a whole lot of things. So you got things like car paints, leather materials, and so on. So there's a ton of things being provided directly over the network now. And you also have the ability, you could create your asset libraries and host them at a URL somewhere and share them with your team. I think that online asset libraries is going to be a big deal for sure. And also do be aware, again, the Essentials category there has definitely grown. So when you look at your asset libraries now, if you have that network setting turned on, you're going to see a ton more options. Now, this next one is more of a getting started thing, I think. I don't think we can consider this one production ready, but it is definitely a step forward. So what we have is a new cloth and hair system, completely dynamic using nodes. So again, start things off with another sacrifice. The cube blood will flow. All right, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add in a new mesh. This is going to be for our cloth, right? So let's go into edit mode, and let's just subdivide that down a few times. All right, there we go. So there is our cloth mesh. Let's go in here and just scale that up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is come in here and just grab that edge loop right there, go over to vertex groups, add one in, and assign it. This is going to be like just a fixed edge. It's going to show you how gravity will affect our cloth item here. So how do we go about making this cloth? Well, let's go back to object mode here, go to the modifiers, add a new modifier, search, and we will find cloth. We have the existing one, but we also have this new experimental cloth dynamics. Go ahead and create that. This is the pin group, so that is that edge right there that will stay static. Well, actually, that should be enough. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Boom. There you go. So you now have dynamic cloth. And the cool thing here is I can actually move this around, and the dynamic system will automatically apply. That is pretty freaking neat. So that is the new cloth-based system. On top of that, we've also got a new collision system. Now, this is all still being worked on. This is, again, entirely using nodes. I'll show you that in a little bit. But let's do one more thing in the scene. So let's go here and add in a sphere, like so. Let's move that down a bit. Okay, yeah, that'll work. And then we're going to add a modifier to it. And this is of type collider. Right, so we add the collider on that one, and that is now in place. And I'm going to create a new collection here, and then say new, and then we'll call this, what do they call them? Anyways, I'll call it colliders, but they give it another name in a second. We'll get to that just right there. So I'm going to move this into collider over there, and then go back to our guy, effectors. That was the word I was looking for. And then we're just going to put our colliders in the effectors category right there. And then what you will see is I go ahead and run this, and boom. Now, a little bit of tweaking to do because it should not be clipping through as it has there, and that you can change with the way that how support for damping, tear, structure, solver, and so on are all implemented right there. And as I mentioned earlier on, this is all directly being driven through geometry nodes. You can see they're creating them for you. So you got all these new nodes here for handling, again, the collectors, the effectors in there. You also have the new PBD simulation being built in there, and so on. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the new dynamic system for both cloth and hair. It is, again, experimental very early on, and right now, for example, it does not work with the physics these things, not as you would expect. Hopefully that gets added with time. There is a node specifically for applying forces, but you got to do a lot more work yourself. But this is, again, if you want to get into full dynamic systems, a little bit move towards what Houdini does, that is what I'm seeing here. So this next one is pretty awesome. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. This time we're going to actually use the default cube. So let's just go ahead. We will select that guy and let's subdivide it a few times. So I got some vertices to work with, like so. And then once again, I'm going to select an edge loop. So let's grab here, edge mode, select, actually I want to do vertical like that. And then what you'll notice here is if I go to circle, you'll see I now have 2 circle. And what that'll do is circularize that set of edges. This has been one of those features that you've been able to do for a very, very long time. But the thing is, the way you did it was via a plugin called Loop Tools. And those have now all been built in, or they're being built in. Right now, I think we have 3 of them. We have 2 circle that you just saw right there. Another one that's available is space edge loops evenly right here. That's actually not going to do anything because a circle is pretty spaced evenly as it stands. So let's grab her and let's do that again. So there you see it's going to space the edges out as on an even amount along the particular surface. And then the final one that we have is flatten, which, to be honest, I'm not finding works the way I would expect it to, but it's still a work in progress. But the cool thing here is basically edge loops are finally being built in. One of the most popular plugins ever for Blender. They've moved it over from Python over to C++, and it is now part of the core system. Hooray. Now, our next thing is a small part of a very big update, and that is around video editing. Video editing got a ton of new features, but we're only going to focus on a couple of them today, specifically one major one, in my opinion. Let's go ahead. I need to find some kind of a project to work with. So let's go. I should have some videos on my desktop. So let's go ahead up there. All right, here we go. So this was a recent video I did. Let's just drop this in over here on this channel. So this is the video editor that is built inside of Blender. If you did not know that, Blender is a full functioning nonlinear video editing solution. You can basically track through the video like so. You can make easy cuts like so. It's pretty powerful. It's definitely so you can use the traditional, so if I want to move these timelines around, for example, I hit G and move them to where I want them to be. It's your traditional Blender hotkeys too, so if you're comfortable with Blender and you want a video editor, that is what you can do here. But the key new thing that we've got here is, I'm going to go ahead, so this video clip right here, the other one is the audio clip from the video, but here, this video clip, let's go back towards the beginning of it, and what you will notice here is you now have this capability, add modifier, so various different modifiers that are on there, you can now use the compositor. So I'm going to create a new compositor on there. Now, the thing that's kind of annoying is for some reason, this might be user error. This is, again, a beta. But if I open up the compositing window like so now we got that, and then boom, I don't know how to get a preview of what I'm working on up there, which is kind of irritating. I don't specifically know how to get it so that I can see what I'm working on. This, I think, should have done it, but I don't know. So if you do know, do let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, I'm going to do Shift A, and we'll add something in here. So let's go creative, and then pixelate. We'll drop that in there. We'll pixelate to that size. That's a lot of pixelation. Okay, 21. We'll see what that does. So there, we've changed it. Boom. There you see, we have now pixelated our clip. So you can use this for images that come in and so on. So the opening up the compositor to all these functionalities, it's going to be pretty powerful. So it's basically bringing, again, a node-driven approach to your video editing. Before you could do this, but it didn't actually do anything. Now you've actually got the ability to integrate the compositor into the nonlinear video editor. And now let's go take a look at one for the drawers among us. So we're going to go here. Let's go to 2D animation this time. Sadly, no cubes to sacrifice here. Sorry about the blinding strobe there. It is a very white background. All right, so what we can do here, let's go ahead and draw a shape like so. And we go ahead and we will fill said shape. Boom. Pretty simple. Something you can do already today. Now, let's say we are a little bit more open with our concept. So let's say we did this instead. Now, I want to go ahead and fill that shape. Obviously, you can't. It's not a closed shape. Well, this is a major new change because this is something you're going to want to do all the time. Well, let's come on over here. We're going to hit N, bring up the tool settings, brush settings, advanced, fill solver. So this is with the fill brush selected. We now have the new Delane. I'm not sure if I'm saying that wrong anyways, but boom, you can now fill unclosed shapes. A new fill algorithm. I also think it's quicker on top of things, but that is lovely. This is going to make this kind of work so much easier. And then we got one final thing to showcase, and that is something that I have been wanting basically since geometry nodes were added. Well, actually, technically, this is two things. So what we got here is a cube, which is going to be sacrificed because the cool thing is we don't need it for this anymore. What you can now do is come up here and add in an empty, like so, and you can apply a geometry nodes to that. So you didn't need to use like a proxy object anymore. So if you want to come in here, add a modifier in, a geometry nodes, you can now apply it to an empty object. So if you have an object that is 100% procedurally generated and not modifying something else, you can now apply it to an empty, like what we saw right here. Now the cooler thing here is we can also now come in here. So let's go into our geometry nodes editor, and what we're going to do is, all right, first off, Shift A, and let's add in, say, a cylinder, like so. Pretty straightforward. Drop said cylinder in. Boom. Nothing really special there. But again, you could create these geometries completely from nothingness. They could come from, again, an empty modifier, which is something I think people have been asking for a very long time. But another thing people have been asking for a very long time is this. And this is going to open up the people that are much smarter than me to be making some really cool tools. There is now a mesh bevel node in geometry nodes. And you can see the effects of it. So I can do metering or not. I can change the spread, the number of segments, like so, the offset, and so on. So you got control over all the various different settings of your bevel, profile selection over here. You got various different outputs there. You can also have it bevel vertices instead. This is going to open up a whole new world of things for people that are creating those awesome geometry nodes examples that you've been checking out. Not me, not smart enough to really figure out geometry nodes, but for other people, bevel is definitely something people have been waiting for, and the ability to apply these things to empty nodes is another, just a nice organizational thing that's been added there as well. So ladies and gentlemen, that is what we've got. If you want to go ahead and check this all out, what you want to do is head on over to blender.org. Then what you do is go to downloads and then scroll on down all the way to the bottom. So 5.1 is the newest version, but as of at least recording this video yesterday, they released 2 new versions. So we've got Blender 5.2 Beta as well as 5.3 Alpha. Not much new in the 5.3 Alpha yet. Really don't want to go that far down the road, I don't think, for most people. But the Beta is now available. You want to go ahead and download that, you can grab that there. Obviously, it's available for other Ooh, no Mac. I don't know why Mac builds aren't there. Okay, Future Mike here. I found the problem. They actually just don't provide Intel builds anymore, and the default UI is defaulting to Intel. If you're on a Mac, it should show you the right version right away, but otherwise, just switch it over. But anyways, Blender 5.2 Beta now available. Those were 6 of the coolest new features in my humble opinion. I'm curious, what do you think? Do you think this release is awesome like I do, or meh? Let me know. Comments down below. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.